Hello and welcome to the webinar, How to Use Branches. I prepared a small project. Actually, you have already seen it. It's the smartphone project. There are already a few sentences. So let me share that project with you. Here it is. Okay, so on this project, I will show you different purposes and different functionalities of the branches. So first, why for what do we use branches? So branches is a function in our software for editing text, and we create branches for also to increase variance of the text. For example, we use here branches for creating more text, for creating more sentence variants. Here you can see it here. We do not have any container, so you can see that we have different branches with different sentence variants. Sentence variant is actually the same formulation of the text, so the same formulation of the sentence, but in a different way, so with different text grammatical structure. So you see here different sentence variants, and you see here different branches with the sentences. How do we create branch? We just copy the text, mark the text, and here you see the view. The first button is for creating container, the second is for creating branch. Now I have created one branch here. Yeah. And just clicking like this, we can create different, we can add branches and create more sentence variants here. I can also undo it. What we can also do, we can copy the whole branch, existing one, and copy it once again. So it works also with copying branches. So if I mark, okay, so if I copy this branch, I can paste it once again. So in this way, we can copy the whole sentences in the same project and within and in different projects. We can copy the whole sentences, and if we need here to copy the branches, we can copy them also here to the other sentences. Okay, so we can create branches for different sentence variants to increase variance of the text. We can also create branches for synonyms as well to create to increase variance. For example, here, so it's incredibly comfortable in your hand. Instead of incredibly, we can mark this word, this adjective, and create a synonym for it. It's very comfortable in your hand. Yeah, we can create also more synonyms. And one more thing where we can use branches, we can use it not only for single words, we can also create them for the phrases that can be also used synonymously, but we can also create them here for different phrases with logical conditions. Yeah, so it's one of the functions which we can use here. We can not only create branches, but we can define a special logical condition when this branch should appear. Yeah. So here we have a trigger, battery capacity big. So we define a trigger, and here we have battery capacity good. So if the battery has smaller capacity, we can put a good as an adjective, and if it's a big capacity of the smartphone or the battery, we can put a massive as an adjective. Okay, so these are actually the function. It's actually the functionality of the branches, but there is even more. So branches itself has different modes how we can output. And for example, here you have already seen that we can put even triggers to output branches, so special logical conditions. what else do we have in the branch settings? If I go here to the branch, you see that right now on the branch here, we have special mode. In this case, we have random as well as here. But we can also put, there is one more mode first. When do we need it? We need it when we want the software to go through the branches from the top to bottom and to check there the conditions, for example, yeah, and output them in that order. For example, here with this branch, we have the sentence that the smartphone with a massive or a good capacity provides a long time. Yeah. So if it's a long time, we have the same trigger as a massive, battery capacity big. But if it's not big, the sentence does not make sense. So it provides of operation. So we do not know exactly what is here. So if it's not a massive capacity and it does not provide a long time, we want enough time to appear. So here we can change the mode to first. How does it work in this case? The software goes to the first branch and check whether here the condition is true. And if it's not true, then it outputs at the second branch. And if we have here one more condition, it checks this condition. And then if it's also not true, then it goes to the third branch. Okay, so this was first and random mode. One more function that we have in the settings of the branch is this one that we can put on the branch itself, and it is a wait. Yeah. Wait means that we can output some branches more often than the other. For example, if I put here instead, so 1 is a default, if I put here 2, it means that incredibly as an adjective appears twice as often as very, yeah, or 10 times more often than very. So if we prefer some of the adjectives, some of the synonyms to appear more often, so perhaps some synonyms that are more common, then we can put there the higher weight. Okay, what else do we have? So we have triggers, we have mode random first, we have weight on the branches. And okay, we have one more thing here. We can use also branches for text shortening. Here, if you know, on the collection, we can put the maximum and minimum length of the text. And for example, if we put here 200 signs, so 200 characters this text should have, the software checks if the text is already that long, and here we can skip some of the branches. So for example, here it's compact model. It is a compact model, yeah? And here we can put one more branch. And to shorten this text, in case we have too many sentences, and for some models, all the sentences appear, because you see here we have some branches, also some triggers for the sentences. So some of the sentences have triggers, and also so for some of the smartphones, these sentences do not appear. But in case we have a model with a lot of different functions and the text is too big, but we decided to have or we need a text with a specific length, here we can shorten it with this function. And we can say that branch is optional if the text reaches already 200 characters. These branches, this one in this case, and also some other where we put this setting, will be omitted. And it works from the right to the left. So the first, this branch will be omitted, and then, for example, this branch and so on. If we're doing it in the, let's do it here, for example, and that is an easy to carry in your pocket. So we will do it like this. First, we will omit this branch, and then this one. Yeah. So if the software sees, okay, we have reached the number of characters, first this branch will be omitted, and then this one to reach that number of characters that are needed. Okay, I think these are actually all the settings that we have on the branches and for the branches. So where can we use the branches? You saw that we can use them here in the write mode, but actually we can use it also in the other places in the software where we edit the text. So we can use it also in the containers. Yeah, for example, here, let's take the device has. Yeah, we can, instead of the device, we can create not a branch, but a container. And we can create branches also within container. For example, here, okay, we do not need the here in the lemma. We can create branch here, and instead of device, we can put smartphone. They will be chosen randomly. We also need a determiner here. Let's use demonstrative. This smartphone, it should be written capitalized in the beginning. So let's output it capitalized, this smartphone. And we can use it also for adjectives. So here we can say this. Okay, I'm not that creative with it. Let's put new. But we can also create more adjectives here, also with the branches. When is it good to use, for example, if we need to adjust adjectives for the adjectives and the nouns? For the English language, is it not that relevant, but for example, for other languages where the adjectives inflect due to the gender and the number of the noun, then we can also use it here. And here we do not need necessarily to create one more variable. We can directly do it in the container, and we can add here also the adjectives inflected correctly together with the nouns. And let me show one more thing where we can use branches. We can use them in the phrase notes, because here we can also edit the text. Here we can create even more branches. For example, here we have the condition for the face recognition. Yeah, so face as a variance for face ID recognition. We can face ID technology. We can use also face recognition as a phrase. And one more place, but I think it's already the last, is lookup table. So in the lookup table, we can also put and edit text. And it's also possible here, for example, instead of black, we can use black or classic black. So here we can also edit text and use the branches as well. Okay, let me see whether I have something else. Let me go back to the write mode and see whether I mentioned everything. Okay, one more thing, perhaps that where we can use the branch, it's here. So if we have a container in the branch, and then we have some text that comes only together with it. So for example, if we have the sentence and we do not have the storage, of the smartphone, the internal storage, then this gigabyte does not make sense. So it should not appear in the sentence. So what we can do here on this container, we can also put some settings. Here in the settings, we can put a skip branch if container is empty. So if we have clicked this, it means that the whole branch will be omitted if the container is empty. And then all the text, for example, in this case, gigabyte, but also if we have a bigger phrase there, so everything that is there in this branch together with the container will not appear in the text. So everything will be omitted. But I think it's actually everything what I wanted to tell you. Let me just quickly repeat it. So the purpose of using branches is to help us to edit the text, and the direct purpose is to increase the variance in all the text with creating more sentence variants, with creating a sentence variants, with creating more synonyms and some additional phrases in the text. We can have different modes with the branches. We can have random and first. We can put the weight on the branch to appear some branch more often than the other. It's most relevant for the synonyms. We can create, we can put some triggers for special branches to appear with a special logical condition. And here we also need to see, for example, if we have too many branches, for example, too many synonyms, we need to see what is better to do, whether we use all of them here in the sentence, or we create phrase nodes in transfer mode and use them there in the phrase node, because sometimes if there are too many of them, then we will have not that good overview of the sentence here. So sometimes it's advisable to create these synonyms or some phrases in transform in the phrase nodes. Okay, so we can put trigger, we can put weight, we can put different modes, and we can use also different modes as, for example, omit the branch for the shortening of the text, or skip the branch on the container settings to skip the branch if the output of the variable is empty. Okay, so that's it from my side. I thank you for your participation and interest on the topic, and see you in the next webinars. Bye.